What's good, people? Welcome back to MKO Boxing, aka MKO Pugilism, where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube, and of course, follow on TikTok, all that stuff. And yeah, let's talk about it. So it's now the afternoon after the great fight, the last crescendo. Great fight between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol, the rematch of the last fight that took place between the two of them. The two best light heavyweights in the world today clashed once again, and I, for one, really enjoyed what took place. For Dmitry Bivol, he finally got his revenge over Artur Beterbiev. I mean, the first fight, I kind of thought, at least for me, I edged it to Bivol by a couple of rounds. I just thought he just was that little bit more effective. But I didn't really complain. Going to Beterbiev, I thought, Bivol probably won this, but it was so close that you really couldn't complain. And once again, last night was pretty much just as close. I would say in the first fight, Beterbiev probably gave a better account of himself in the first fight than this fight. I thought he was more effective, but this one, it ebbed and flowed. I mean, the very early stages, the early rounds, Bivol done the right thing by sort of asserting himself, using flashy, fast combinations, going to Beterbiev's body, bringing the shots up to the head. His punch selection was excellent, landing brilliant straight shots. For me, I think, from what I recall last night, I was sort of calling those first three rounds pretty much a clean sweep for Dmitry Bivol. I just thought he was, although Beterbiev was following him around, he was tracking him down, Bivol was just that little bit more accurate with his punches and a little bit sharper, a little bit faster. But then the concern that I was having looking at it was that Dmitry Bivol looked like you could tell it was taking something out of him, that he was expending a lot of energy, and you could tell that he was throwing punches, winning those rounds, but you could tell that he was having to do it. He was being put under that pressure by the footwork of Artur Beterbiev, who's just like a Terminator, just walks you down, and he was under a lot of pressure last night to deliver and to throw more. So winning the rounds, but looking like, Beterbiev was looking like he's still dangerous, still in there. When he did land, you could see powerful shots, but Bivol was just that bit on top for those first three. And then, as happens with some of these great fighters, it kind of went the other direction. After sort of that third, fourth round, Artur Beterbiev came into his own. He started getting on top. Bivol started doing that little bit less, and it became, it flowed in the direction of Artur Beterbiev. He was a man on the ascendancy in the front foot, and Bivol was doing a lot less. Beterbiev was getting on top. He was landing his shots. Bivol was sort of retreating, having to move, having to stay out of Beterbiev's way. But then I felt he was, Bivol, after that success he had early, he wasn't really letting his hands go enough in the rounds that followed. So he was losing rounds there too. And I remember at a certain point, around the midway point of the fight, I was thinking to myself, well, this looks like there's a problem maybe with the right hand of Dmitry Bivol, because he done this thing where for about 3 rounds, he didn't really throw many right hands. It was probably, I don't know the numbers, but probably within a period of about 3 rounds, he threw about maybe 10 of them. Next to hardly any right hands. It was just jabbing with the left, and that was it. That was all he was doing. So there was that period sort of after his big success where he definitely lost a few rounds for me in that mid part of the fight. And for me, I felt, well, this is going Beterbiev's way. It looks like Beterbiev might even be able to take him out if he keeps having this success and he keeps tracking him down. But then later on in the fight, it then turned around again in Bivol's favour, where Bivol then started lighting Beterbiev up, and it was like, even the commentary was a bit confused because they were thinking it looks like there's an injury to the right hand of Bivol because he's not throwing it, he's just holding his hand there and he's not letting it go, it's just all left hand. But then, after that midway point, Bivol starts letting his hands go again and he starts, clawing back the rounds and then gets himself right back in there. And Beterbiev is tracking him down, having his success. And it seems like it's going in Bivol's way because there were rounds in there during sort of going towards the end of the fight after those mid rounds where you had Beterbiev not able to do much, Beterbiev missing shots and sort of still tracking Bivol down, but it looked like even after he'd hurt Bivol that he was almost stepping off the gas, almost taking a round off. There was a period where he even kind of took a round off and he kind of didn't attack Bivol. And he was kind of, still coming forward a bit, but not really doing as much. And then that allowed Bivol to do his thing, to land his shots. And I think maybe in some sense, the Beterbiev's age might have got to him a little bit in this fight. I mean, don't get me wrong, he still performed very, very well, as the last round showed. But yeah, it became more Bivol's fight, sort of mid-rounds towards the championship rounds. And then it was going back and forth, very even. And then we had round 11, which was a brilliant round by Dmitry Bivol. He was really lighting Artur Beterbiev up, really letting his hands go. Great combinations all the way through round 11. Clear round for Dmitry Bivol. But then, going into the 12th round, Beterbiev's corners were saying, oh, look, we need this round. You must win this. This is the 12th round, etc., etc. They're really geeing their man up, feeling that they were behind or something like that, and they needed that round. And to Artur Beterbiev's credit, he really did take the 12th round. I mean, Bivol had his moments, but for me, his moments in the 12th round were kind of few and far between. The vast majority of that round was dominated by Artur Beterbiev. So he for me definitely took the 12th round. When we came to the time of the decision, I was thinking this might even be scored a draw. I thought Beterbiev definitely won the 12th round, so that may sway the judges. But for me, I was finding it quite difficult to pick because there were moments where Beterbiev, he kind of lost a few rounds in a row, and there were moments where Bivol, he wasn't throwing the right hand, so he lost a few rounds in a row, and it was kind of a tough one to gauge, really. When that final bell rung, I was thinking maybe this could even be a draw because it's so it's so close. But I could see reasons why Bivol won, and yeah, the decision comes out. I think one judge had it a draw, and then the other two too. So decision goes to Dmitry Bivol, and for me, I think it's one of those fights that you can't really argue with it. It was very close. Both men had their successes, and Bivol just seemed to be that little tiny bit more effective in this fight. And now they're talking about a trilogy. I think Beterbiev would want that, and Bivol, he wants a rest, but he'd be more than happy for that. And I think going into a trilogy fight now, based on what I've seen in both fights, I think Dmitry Bivol being sort of the younger man, I think he's the man with sort of a high ceiling at this point. I think Beterbiev now he'd be, depending when they have the rematch, if it's next year or whatever, then or this year, the man's going on to 41 years old. So I think of the two of them, you got to say Bivol's the more fresher man. He's been able to do 24 rounds now with Artur Beterbiev, and I think he's the man with the potential to even improve and to come on from this fight and win even more clearly. And that's kind of what I think happens in the third fight. But yeah, credit to both men. And I think, close as it was, right man got the decision. So let me know your thoughts on this one in the comment section below. Until next time, it's MKO Boxing, over and out.